you're going to displace his army from his main and his natural. So that means as soon as the third's taken out, you can just bounce right to his main.
Try and weave around this. God.
That's okay.
Would you still recommend going for his base, or?
Yeah, but
yeah.
Anything to delay his push, because you do have like a lot of money and it's not being spent. So you have to work on that.
Yeah. And he's got turrets. All these guys are gonna die.
So I'd recommend building like 30 mutilisks or 20 mutilisks, and you might be able to win from there. Just because you'll be able to use fungal growth on all of his marines, and then the mutilisks will clean up everything else. This is like a really risky style of play that I don't recommend, but it's gonna work just because I see like what he has. So you do have a lot of drones in your main, but only 2 patches, and so I know I said 16 minerals or 16 drones per base, but that's only because there's 8 patches. So whenever there's 2 patches, you only want 4 drones at most. Whenever there's a big engagement like that, like I said, you want to do the damage control, like check the gases, check the watchtowers, ling at the base, stuff like that. So you have an unsaturated geyser at your third, and also you're kind of supply blocked.
Yeah, I just noticed the supply block.
Yeah. So it's just the smaller things like that. So if you weren't supply blocked, you'd be able to like build a lot of zerglings or something, but all right. There's actually like a ghost in your main. That's kind of weird. I think the AI bugged out or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's probably because I've let the game go on for like far too long. So I'm gonna get attacked with like battle cruisers or something.
No, I think as long as you hit these fungal growths, you'll be just fine.
Oh boy.
So go ahead and defend your third. You'd be able to see the attack coming if you had the watchtower, but you don't, so I'm just going to tell you that there's an attack coming at your third.
Okay.
So the only thing you want to do here is just make sure that these fungal growths land on his marines. And if you can do that, then you will win, and if not, then you'll lose. Not enough fungal growths, and you kind of forgot some units in your main, and also you forgot the damage control to make all the units. And but you definitely had a chance to win this game. It just didn't pan out. All right, so I think we're going to call that GG. I think he's well.
Yeah,
just build all mutilisks, and we'll see what's up.
That's all I got. And then rally it kind of far away so they don't get killed instantly.
I think they're going to get killed.
They make it that long?
Yeah. But he's actually only got 6 marines in this army. So I mean, technically you could hold off this push, but so just like attack move and should be okay. Mutalisks, great.
Oh, they brought in more marines.
Oh. Okay. Well, so that's that. But did you see where you went wrong and like your macro was slipping and?
Yep.
Yeah. So what I'd recommend to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave this game because the sound effects are kind of loud. What I'd recommend you do is before the next coaching session, if you decide to get another session, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. But before the next one, I'd recommend playing at least like 5 games, and in those games, just prioritize the macro aspect of your gameplay over winning. So that means like, even though you're being attacked and you're freaking out, just force yourself to make the units and hit the injects, because like you saw, you can just like literally just A-move your entire army, and they'll be just as effective as a normal army. Obviously, like slightly less, but it's not like you're going to lose the game just because you're not looking at a fight.
Okay, 5 games against like very hard computer, right? Or against people, or
people. I think people would be easier than a very hard computer, but just as long as you're playing the games, because even if you're practicing macro against like a computer or against an opponent, like either way you're practicing macro, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
So, but really focus on the build order too. The build order is such that if you're doing it correctly, you won't have any extra minerals. You won't need that 3rd hatchery, the 4th hatchery, or stuff like that. And your creep spread should be like ridiculous. But if it's not, that just means that you need to work on it a little bit more, and hopefully that means that you'll be improving.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that went pretty well. You almost took out a very hard computer. So
I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't think. I think I've been too afraid to try like very hard. So. Well,
yeah. A lot of the lower league friends that I have, they kind of get like stressed out, and they don't want to do 1v1. They're scared of 1v1. They do like 2v2 or 3v3 instead. And
well, that way, if you lose, you can blame it on someone.
Yeah, exactly. But really, as long as you're doing your best in the game, you shouldn't be ashamed of losing, even though you did their best, because that just means that your best wasn't good enough at that point. But the next game, like obviously, you're going to learn from the defeat and like understand. Well, I missed the macro here, so as long as I improve the macro there, then maybe I'll have a better chance of holding off the push. So also, like Blizzard, they don't even record losses anymore. Like it doesn't show up on your stats page, so you shouldn't be worried about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's not like I care about other people's opinions of me, so.
Yeah,
like I'm just playing for myself and for fun as well. So.
So I think that's. I mean, just work on the macro, and I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot more success.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, for a Silver League player, I definitely think you're kind of underrated. You're gonna rise up soon enough.
Oh man, I hope so. I was having such a hard fucking time in bronze. Like I got to number 1 twice, and I was beating like silver players and sometimes even like a gold league player, and it wouldn't bump me up. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I guess they fixed it apparently. So like I am now in silver, but still.
The league system doesn't really matter too much, just as long as because if you're winning enough and you're good enough, you're gonna get ranked up. Like that's just how it works. So you shouldn't be worried like, oh, I just beat a gold league guy. It should be gold. Like,
well, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was the point that like, not that oh my gosh, you're being gold. I mean, I don't know. I was in like rank. I was in top 8 for like weeks, or even like top 4 in some cases, and I would get to 1, and like nothing would happen. And it also sucks because in Bronze League there's a lot of like portrait farmers as well, and I was very afraid of fighting them, which I'm pretty sure happened a couple of times. And that's not exactly fair,
Yep, but
so I was hoping there'd be less of them in silver.
But the league that you're in doesn't like determine who you're playing. Like I know some players like Momin. Like I don't know if you saw him, but he joined the game earlier.
Yeah, he joined the game quickly.
But like he's not even in the league, and he's Grandmaster. But he like literally he has no league just because the league system's like kind of broken. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to leagues. Just like pay attention to the individual games. Like what you want to be happening is when you join a game, you want to focus on your own gameplay and like your own macro, your mechanics. So you might think to yourself, well, my opponent didn't have as good macro as me, but he still won. So this game's kind of broken or imbalanced. But that might be true or might not be true. But you just want to focus on yourself and what you can improve on, because you can't really affect what your opponent does. So the focus should be on you. Yeah, that probably didn't make much sense, but it made sense.
It did. I get where you're coming from. Like, I understand.
Okay.
I can't let, I don't know, I let other people's like ranks like kind of intimidate me and like psych myself out.
Oh yeah, like
and
I'm sure you see like a high level portrait and you're like, oh god, he must be a
yeah,
pro.
like it took them like 1,000 games to get that, or you know, it can be something as even as like slightly favored or favored, and it psychs me out like really easily. Just like I immediately think like, oh shit, you know, it's so much better than me, and then I try my best, but I forget a lot of things. Like you know, you focus mainly on units when you really shouldn't be at times, and that's what I'm pretty sure that's what causes me to lose the majority of the games.
You should be playing against like good people the same way as you play against bad people. As in, you should be like doing your best. So even though your opponent's like favored or slightly favored, it shouldn't change your gameplay at all. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So like even if you're playing against like a super pro, you'll be doing exact same thing as you would be normally. Because if you're like trying harder, then that means like against normal people or like people at your level, you're not really trying as hard as you can be, and so you're almost wasting your time, but not really. So you're just not getting as much benefit out of it as you normally would be if you were giving it, 100%. So, yep, I think that's it.
Okay.
So just work on the macro, and then get your boyfriend to tell me what's up. If we're gonna do another lesson, or what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it if you are.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You wouldn't mind spending money on me. So.
All right, well, I guess that wraps it up.
Alrighty.
See you then.
Well, thank you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yep, no problem. Oh,
right.
Also, this is, I think I recorded this. I'm like 90% positive, so I should be able to send your boyfriend the VOD.
Oh, wonderful. Proud of me.
All right, so GG's.
Yeah, thanks, man. GG.